Welcome back, frienderinos, to Dergy be playing Mass Effect.
I understand what you're saying, but these allegations are very serious. I can't just... This is serious. My reputation is at stake. I spoke with the consort in confidence, and her alone, and she betrayed that confidence. All right. I will look into it for you. In the meantime, do not do anything rash.
So, she's just going around and looking at the different embassies for the different races, trying to kind of just being curious about them. She's always been curious about the alien races. And, stepping in here, she's wondering why an Elcor would have some issue with an Asari, it seems. So she's gonna ask about that first, I think. She probably doesn't want to pry too much, but if she could help this guy, then she'd like to.
Hello there.
Once I remember the right button.
Sincere apology, but I am here on business and cannot be distracted right now.
Hello? Hello?
You seem distressed. Is there something I can do to help?
Alarmed response. You overheard that, did you? This is all going so wrong, and it is the Asari consort's fault. She's the one who started all this.
What did this Asari do to get you so upset?
I cannot speak more about this problem. It is too sensitive. Suffice it to say, she has compromised my authority as a diplomat.
Where can I find this Asari consort?
She is across the bridge from here. Her offices are easy enough to spot. Good day, human.
Alright, she'll go check that out. And honestly, she's just curious to meet this Asari consort. And she's also kind of in the back of her brain like, you know, could I maybe get some action? Because she's very lesbian. And she's never had an Asari before, but she wants to. Yeah.
Please greeting. Human, it is always good to see your kind. I am Ambassador Kalen. Genuine query. Is there something I can do for you this day?
Why do you explain what you're about to say?
Our people communicate less through words and more through scent and slight movements. Plainly, we discovered our vocal expression was not enough to convey the feelings of our conversations to other species.
Why do you bother, Kalen? These Earth Clan don't really care about our ways.
Remorseful response, Din. You don't truly believe that, and if you do, I am very sorry for you.
Why do you explain what you're about to say?
Our people communicate less through words and more through scent and slight movements. Plainly, we discovered our vocal expression was not enough to convey the feelings of our conversations to other species.
Why do you bother, Kalen? These Earth Clan don't really care about our ways.
Remorseful response,
Wait,
Din.
I'm not sure if I actually
You
have
don't truly
already
believe that, and if you do, I am very sorry for you.
done that entire thing, and if I have, I apologize. I remember that I did just hear those last two lines, though.
Tell me more about your species.
Genuine enthusiasm. I delight in telling the history of my people. It is agreeable to share our culture with others.
Tell me about the history and origins of the Elcor.
The Elcor were just beginning to explore Council space when the Asari first made contact with us. With their help, we discovered the relay closest to our system, and from there the Citadel. Proudly. Within one lifetime we established a regular route to the Citadel, and quickly became one of the more active species living on this great station.
I'd like to know more about the culture of the Elcor.
Frankly, we Elcor prefer the safety and familiarity of our own colonies to the confines of space travel. Our society is built on small, tight-knit groups, though we are always welcoming to outsiders. Our government tends to be very stable. Our people are not very comfortable with sudden changes.
Basically, the Elcor are chill, and I like them. I like them a lot. And the interesting implications behind the reasons they speak so monotonely and have to append the tone of sentences to the beginning of them with, remorseful response, Din, for example. It's very interesting. I really do enjoy that. It's a really cool lore tidbit. Also, they do some funny things with the Elcor voice later on. But the Elcor, monotoneness. But I love the Elcor. It's a really fascinating species that I feel like I'd love to be more represented in the games than they are, for sure. It'd be kind of cool if we were able to get some sort of Elcor person on our ship, like some sort of party member, at least that we talk to, some character that we talk to a lot. But that has not been a thing, as far as I'm aware, in the Mass Effect series, because I haven't played the entirety of 3, and I haven't played most of Andromeda. I intend to fix both of those, and I also don't actually hate either game. It's just both have not been as... I wouldn't say I even dislike them. They just aren't as engaging to me. Like and dislike are less and less of how I interpret things, and I think that if you really start to go in that direction with your mind and question why you like or dislike something, ask yourself why. Ask yourself, especially in regards to your dislikes, what, you might be missing out on by avoiding things you dislike. And there's all sorts of things. There's all sorts of really interesting implications behind what you first think when you look at something or interpret something or think, or the first thing the knee-jerk reaction you have to a lot of things. It's really interesting to observe those. And you start to understand patterns eventually and get to the point where you're able to less rely on those reactions, and everything becomes easier because you're no longer reactive. It's something that humans have to learn it's a habit humans have to learn to get into, but it's a completely different and, in my experience, much better mode of existence than the sudden reaction. But I'm still learning to switch myself over to, the intuitiveness, and the reason it's not so widespread is because it's hard, but it's extremely worth it. Anywho, that's your Dergy deep thought for this episode. Y'all are probably pretty aware that by now I just do that. I just do the deep thought thing.
Anywho, goodbye, Ambassador.
Sincere farewell.
See,
Enjoy your time on the Citadel.
Thank you very much. The Volus are an interesting species to me, however. She doesn't want to waste her time talking to someone who doesn't seem to want her presence to be anywhere near him at all anyway, so we won't be talking to him. We will pop in... Oh, hold on. I thought this was the CSEC chief's office for a second, because his office is, as far as I remember, entirely identical, but no, this is Udina's office. So let's go ahead and go down here. I've gotta go do something for a second, but we will, in the very next clip, return to exploration. Alrighty, friendos, let's keep exploring the Citadel. Hello there, Miss Receptionist. Sorry,
Good day, Commander. The human ambassador is up the stairs, first room on the right.
You know who I am?
Yes, I receive reports on all newly arrived dignitaries and notable people.
It makes a lot of sense that she would. I'm guessing she wants to make sure that she greets those notable people. It must be some sort of diplomatic, political kind of thing. It's just it makes a lot of sense considering she's an embassy receptionist. The embassies are, where a lot of the politicaling, that's a word now, but the political activity on the Citadel happens except for, like, in the Citadel Tower. So it would make a lot of sense that the receptionist would make sure that she would know, you know, the names of notable people that come in, and for all sorts of political reasons. I'm not sure how to actually think of an example, but it just makes sense to me. And I like that little detail there, kind of fleshing out the world a little there again. Unless this is a normal kind of thing for some receptionists. Don't quote me if I'm wrong, but I don't think normally in real life that would apply. But with an embassy, it makes sense.
What is this place?
This is the Presidium. More specifically, you are at the Citadel embassies. If you have more questions, please access Avina.
Who what?
What's that?
Oh, Avina is the virtual guide for the Citadel. Feel free to access the terminal yourself.
Okay. And she's right behind us, by the way. We'll be poking her in a little bit.
What's your name? What do you do here?
My name is Safiria. I'm the administrative assistant for the embassies.
Alright, well.
I should be going now.
Have a pleasant day.
You too. I think Etheria was her name.
Greetings and welcome to the Presidium. My name is Avina, and I am pleased to be your virtual guide throughout this level of the Citadel space station.
What does that mean?
I am a fully interactive virtual intelligence, programmed to provide spontaneous guidance at predetermined locations of interest throughout this level of the Citadel.
And also,
I may also be contacted through any of the Presidium VI terminals,
buddy.
should you require assistance.
Hi, buddy. Meow. He's a good kitty. Meow. Hello. Whoops! I knocked my controller off my desk, my PS4 controller. Thankfully, I know these things are goddamn books. It would suck if he broke it, but it won't take too long for me to make the money I need to get another one if that's the case, and I highly doubt it. I've dropped it a billion times. Freak, I'll grab it later. Continuing the recording. We're doing it live, friendos, essentially.
You are standing at Presidium Tourism Terminal 1. On either side of this lobby are the embassies of the various Citadel races, along with CSEC headquarters. On the far end of this level, you can see the Citadel Tower, where the Council meets regularly to discuss matters of interstellar importance.
Do you know anything about specters?
The term Spectre is derived from the branch of Special Tactics and Reconnaissance. Each Spectre agent is handpicked by the Council. Their primary role is preserving galactic stability and resolving volatile situations that cannot be handled through normal political channels. In this role, they are granted extraterritorial rights and jurisdictions. Spectres answer to no law or authority except the Council itself.
What can you tell me about the Citadel Council?
Originally, the Council consisted of representatives from the Asari and Solarians, the two dominant species in Citadel space. Roughly 1,304 galactic standard years ago, Turians were invited to join the Council in recognition of the role they played during the Krogan Rebellion. Since then, the three Council races have worked together to ensure the peaceful coexistence of the galactic community, while preserving individual autonomy for each species.
I'm not sure if that was mentioned before, that the Council was originally just Asari and Solarians for a long time, and then they invited the Turians in after after seeing how the Turians dealt with the Krogan Rebellion. And kind of like the Volus, they were like, hey, you're really good at X, why don't you provide X for, you know, our whole galactic community, which in the Volus' case is financial services and the like, and in the Turians' case it is military strength and security and fighting power and all of that, which is pretty interesting.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, and thank you for using Avina. Please enjoy your visit to the Citadel.
Thank you. I think she definitely is enjoying it right now, if only just to take all of this in. And hell, this is still impressive to me. This is a 2008 game. it's impressive to me thinking about the fact that this game was made in 2008. The visuals here are really stellar to me. I mean, honestly, graphics from this era have always done the job for me. You know, and even the PS2 era, that's when it starts to get like my favorite kind of 3D graphics, where it's not super ultra mega high fidelity. And I tend to, I mean, yes, I love some games that are super ultra mega high fidelity, but I tend to like games that are more stylized than super ultra realistic looking. And the thing is, back in this era, super ultra realistic looking wasn't really realistic in the sense of actual, you know, game engines. Now it's a lot more realistic to do that, but making a game look realistic, I would say, I don't know, it loses its appeal a little bit for some people. I always have preferred games with graphics that are a little more toned down, or graphics from this era, because they couldn't be super realistic. And there is a certain degree of stylization to the graphics here. And there's a lot of alien architecture and stuff. Like, the more just real world a game looks, the more I'm like, because we see real life every day. Why would we want to see it in a video game? I don't know. That's just me. And also, it just feels like too much to take in sometimes, the sheer detail. But that is also just me. I'm very sensitive to visual stuff. I'm autistic. I'm on the spectrum. That's one of my things. Is aesthetics make or break a game for me. And Mass Effect does it. Really does it for me. Oh my god. Anyway. A lot of games do, but just looking around the Citadel, like, I apologize if some of you find this talk while I'm roaming around the Citadel boring, but I just needed to just kind of look around at this place for a moment. Oops, I didn't mean to exit. Let's see what we have available here. I think it's probably going to be only the embassies, right? No, we can go to the Citadel Tower, but we're not going to be doing that quite yet. There's a few things we can do and explore, and people we can talk to and such on the way to the Citadel Tower area. I'm trying to remember where things are, if I want to go over that side of the bridge first, but no. I'll explore this side of the bridge first, entirely, and then cross over there and see what we're on about over there. Man, look at that freaking horizon, man. The way that the Citadel ring curves up, you know, into the clouds. You can kind of, that way you can also, like, looking at that advent on the horizon and looking up, like, you can see that it looks like the sky is projected between those the two, like, tops of the walls. These, like, jutting out top things. It seems like that like, it's like a projected screen type thing over the top. Like, it's really clear that it is if you look out to the distance and realize it curves up, you know, like, I don't know, it really looks like the sky curves, you know, with it, so it stands to reason. It really does, I don't know, it just looks certainly well enough. Now, the game really starts to show its age here, though, I just realized looking up at this long enough, because it looks rather 2D, the cars passing by and everything, but definitely does the job of looking impressive, especially for the time, but in general, this will look impressive to me for the rest of my life, no matter what games look like in 20 years or whatever. If we're all around in 20 years. There's a lot of shit going on in the world, friendos. I hope y'all are all safe. Anyway.
Look at that bug thing over there. What's it doing?
Please do not disturb the keepers.
Sure is peaceful here.
Yep.
This place is a little too perfect. They're hiding something.
Or maybe you're just paranoid and distrust aliens, Ashley. You ever think about that? See, I don't hate Ashley, but that part of her personality can fuck off sometimes, to be entirely frank.
Please do not disturb the keepers. Welcome to Presidium Tourism Terminal 2. You are standing near the base of the Citadel Tower, one of the Presidium's most recognizable and important structures. Behind me is the spectacular relay monument, a scale model representation of a Prothean mass relay. To your left is one of the keepers, the enigmatic caretakers of the Citadel, working on a control panel. You may see keepers involved in various tasks throughout all levels of the Citadel. We ask that you do not interfere with them in any way. The keepers are essential to the smooth operation of the Citadel. Obstructing their daily work will result in harsh penalties, including incarceration and rehabilitation.
Tell me more about the relay monument.
Discovered by the Asari who
I like
first
this
arrived
shot.
at the Citadel, the relay monument is one of the station's most
camera angle
interesting
here.
and controversial features. What is the meaning behind this striking piece of art? Is it a tribute to Prothean vanity? A reminder of their conquest of the galaxy through mass relay technology? Or perhaps it is a symbol of unity, a Prothean acknowledgement that the relays would eventually lead other species here to the Citadel. No one can say for sure, making the relay monument a favorite topic of discussion among academics and scholars.
Tell me about the Citadel Tower.
Housing both the council chambers and Citadel control, the tower is one of the most important buildings on the station. Access to these areas is restricted to those with the appropriate clearance.
I'd like to hear more about the council chambers.
The business of the council, which often has far-reaching effects on the galactic community, is conducted in a room at the apex of the Citadel Tower. The council chambers themselves are truly a magnificent sight to behold, though few get to experience the view in person. Typically, only the councilors, ambassadors, and high-ranking officials, along with various support staff, are allowed access.
That's all for now.
Thank you for using Avina. Have a pleasant day.
Alrighty. Continuing to loop around here. And go to the other side and then come back around. Just to make sure we get everything here on the way. Continuing our exploration. Not sure if there's anyone across this way here. I feel like I haven't been getting a few of the ambient conversations that are possible, but oh well, we'll have to wander around here later anyway, so I'm hoping that will mean I can get a few of those. Although I might just not be remembering the ones that I already got, because yesterday was when I recorded that last part. The last clip. Hello, Barlavon.
This? One of the Earth Clan. Ah, a very famous one, yes? You are the one called Shepherd. The tale of how you survived the great tragedy on Apuz is truly remarkable. I am amazed each time I hear it.
It's interesting how so many people on the Citadel make it part of their job to know about the notable people that come here. Like the receptionist and him, they both have their reasons. And let us go ahead and learn his reason.
You've got me at a disadvantage here.
Forgive me, Earth Clan. My name is Barlavan. My job makes it necessary for me to keep informed. I am a financial advisor to many important clients here on the Citadel. When someone as important as yourself arrives on the station, I take notice.
Yes, I know BioWare. I'm the player character. I'm super important and amazing and awesome. It's like in RPGs, like, I love RPGs, okay, but the sheer amount of buttering up the main character that occurs in most games, it's a little jarring to me. I don't dislike it. It's just odd to me, and I feel like I don't ever feel like I deserve it. But that's probably because I'm autistic am used to being ostracized by society, but then I go into these video games and they're like, "You're awesome." Everyone's like that, and I'm like, "Thanks, but this is interesting treatment." I don't know. That's kind of what It's kind of what my knee-jerk reaction is, I suppose.
Tell me more about your job.
Galactic finance is incredibly complex. A mix of laws and regulations from dozens of interstellar economies. I'm an expert in how all these economies interact. For a fee, I share my expertise. I also offer premium services for those clients who need someone to conduct business without drawing unwanted attention. Discreet and efficient. That's my motto.
Sounds pretty shady.
Everything I do falls completely within the bounds of interstellar commerce law. Even so, many of my clients would prefer their transactions remain undisclosed. For example, suppose a Hanar ambassador was petitioning the council to reduce tariffs on Hanar goods. How would it look if he had money invested in a Hanar exporting company? Even if his true motives were to help his people, he would be accused of advancing the petition for his own personal gain. I can keep his personal finances private.
Yeah, she's not gonna pry further, but both she and I would agree that that type of dishonesty shouldn't happen anyway, but, well, the world of politics tends to do that, and this is a nice little parallel to real-world politics here.
What's it like living here on the Citadel?
The station is, without a doubt, the greatest wonder in the galaxy. It is a technological marvel, but its true splendor goes much deeper than the hull and engines. From the Presidium to the wars, the entire station is a testament to the success of the Council. All the species of Citadel spaced together in a single strong community.
What are the wards like?
The cultural heart of the galaxy. They pulse with the lifeblood of millions of citizens from dozens of different species. You never know what you'll find out in the wards, Commander. It's always full of surprises. Fortunately, most of them are pleasant.
I really do enjoy the wards and looking around the wards, especially in this game.
What makes the Presidium so special?
It is the political center of Citadel space. 80% of all intelligent species in the known galaxy acknowledge the Council's authority on interstellar matters. But only the most powerful and influential species have embassies here on the Presidium. This level of the station is reserved for the elite, Shepard. People like us.
Ooh.
I should go.
Goodbye, Commander.
So yeah, Barlavon's an interesting person. Seems like a good person. I like him. He's cool. Speaking of cool, interesting aliens, hello there.
Ah, human. This one is greatly pleased to see you here in my decadent emporium.
Who are you?
This one's face name is Delaninder, though many in this place simply refer to it as Delan. Please take time to examine the fine goods it has for purchase, all of great worth.
Let's learn about Hanar.
Why do you refer to yourself as this one and it?
For the same reason that humans are so inquisitive. It is part of our culture. Specifically, Hanar only refer to themselves in the first person with family or intimates. And we rarely do so with other species. It is just our way.
Who are you?
Oh, well, I already talked to this.
Please take time to examine the fine goods it has for purchase, all of great worth.
I think I'll be going.
Return soon. This one receives new shipments regularly.
So yeah, Hanar are pretty cool. I really enjoy, like, the sheer creativity that went into creating the Hanar. it's interesting because they seem to walk on their tentacles and stand up on them, and it's just really fascinating to see these more alien species and how they function. And are very cool. They're mystical. It's really awesome.
Welcome to Presidium Tourism Terminal 3. Here in the financial district, a number of businesses offer various goods and services to their exclusive clientele. The statue you see before you was commissioned to honor the Krogan soldiers who gave their lives to protect Citadel space during the Rachni Wars. In the aftermath of the Krogan rebellions, several embassies petitioned to have the statue removed. However, this motion was eventually quashed by the Council.
Tell me more about the Krogan rebellions.
In recognition of their efforts during the Rachni Wars, the Krogan were granted several new colony worlds by the Council. Over the next 400 years, the Krogan species began to expand. Blessed with an extremely high birth rate, their numbers began to swell. Faced with a critical overpopulation crisis, the Krogan started a violent colonization of nearby worlds inhabited by other Council species. The Krogan rebellions had begun. For a full century, the Council and its member species fought to bring the Krogan under control. With the aid of the newly discovered Turian Empire, they were ultimately successful.
What were the Rachni Wars?
Nearly 2,200 years ago, explorers seeking to expand Citadel space opened up mass relays leading to systems controlled by the Rachni. A highly intelligent and aggressive insect race, the Rachni unleashed a war of conquest against the rest of the galaxy that lasted for nearly 3 centuries. The emergence of the Krogan finally turned the tide in favor of the Citadel species. Krogan forces provided the numbers necessary to halt the Rachni advance and drive them back. The Krogan then pursued their retreating fleets. Able to survive the harsh environments of the Rachni homeworlds, the Krogan hunted their enemy to extinction.
She's not gonna inject her opinion here because she already kind of gets the fact that that Avina's only going to say pre-programmed things anyway, and doesn't really want to bother trying to express her opinion to a VI who's probably she's probably aware enough of how VI normally function that she realizes she's not really going to get anything out of that. So, and yeah, spoiler alert, if you actually pursue those, Avina's like, I'm sorry, she basically just brushes the entire thing off, and so I don't see a reason to really pick those options. I think I already touched on the statue,
Why did the Council
but
fight so
I
hard
want to
to
make
get the
sure.
statue?
The Krogan were instrumental in saving the
Not
galaxy from the
100%.
Rachni threat. The Council believed this historical fact should not be forgotten. The Council also hoped that preserving the memorial would improve diplomatic relations with the Krogan and bring about a peaceful resolution to the rebellions. Unfortunately, the Krogan refused to negotiate and only surrendered after their population and homeworlds had been ravaged by the Turians.
Oof.
That's all for now.
But yeah, that's a nice little
Using Avina,
insight
present day.
into the fact that the Krogan are essentially still instinctually driven, even though they are sapient and sentient. They're instinctually driven more so than every other species, like humans and Asari and Durians and Solarians, etc. They're all more intelligence-driven. Krogan are more instinctually driven. At least that's kind of how I interpret their warlikeness, and especially a lot of the Krogan we meet later. The reason they started the rebellions is because they were overpopulated. They were like, well, we need more worlds. Well, let's go get some, motherfucker. And that's just their whole thought process on that, it seems. Which is just really interesting. Because we'll meet some Krogan later, and some of them are actually really smart. It's just that they tend to they just tend to seem to act more on the they tend to seem to act more on the instincts again. I really enjoy them, by the way, Krogan, as a concept. By the way, am I going back? Yeah, okay. I haven't even talked to the consort yet, which she's one of my favorite parts of this game because I'm perfect. I mean, what? It's one of my favorite parts of this game because I really enjoy her as a character. And Shepard, goddamn, Shepard's gonna enjoy her because, spoiler alert, I'm gonna do the option that makes you have sex with her because, of course, I am. Because I am me. Whew. Whew. But I'm actually just making sure I do everything else before. I think this was the Krogans. Okay, so we were already over here. So whew. There's the transit rattler.
Welcome. I am Naelina. I don't recognize you as one of our expected clients today. Would you like me to see when the consort will be able to meet with you?
Can't I just go in?
I'm afraid not. Yeah, you must understand there are many who seek the consort services.
Many.
But if you wish to leave your name, she'll make every effort to meet with you.
In a very long goddamn time. By the way, spoiler alert.
Commander Shepard, with the Alliance Navy.
Excellent. You should hear something in 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, she's a very popular woman. At this point, she's just internally rolling her eyes, just like, well, no reason to, act irate about it, but I guess I'm going then.
I think I'm done here.
Oh, well, I hope you'll return again in the future. We always enjoy seeing new clients.
Naelina,
Yes, Shaira?
send the commander up to see me. I wish to speak with her.
Yes, of course, mistress.
And obligatory sexual cutscene. It's really interesting because she's a side character still, but they give her this seductive cutscene here.
Consort has taken notice of you.
It's interesting because that kind of cutscene feels like it should be reserved for important story characters, where she's really just a side quest character, and for all intents and purposes, and a side character throughout the game. Like, it really feels like she should be more important than she is, because of how she's presented, and also the thematic significance she has, and also the fact that she really does help foreshadow a lot of things about Shepard, and you'll see that later. I don't know, I just feel like she should have been given a bigger role in all 3 games than she is, including this one, but she's definitely got the most presence in this game. I just enjoy her and the consort as a concept, and you really get an insight into the Asari's culture here and just how they are as a species generally. They're very empathetic, and she basically practices extremely powerful empathy for a living because she's just particularly empathetic. That's essentially what she does. You'll learn if you go and talk to all these people about it, which I find extremely fascinating.
Where do I go?
Just head upstairs. She'll be waiting for you.
Alright, let's go. Whoops,
I see even the humans find the consort irresistible.
Indeed. How could you not? Sorry you're hot. Man, especially her. I really do like her looks, particularly, actually. This one's very pretty too, though. Very much so. Hello. And there's even a human attendant here. You notice that all the others are Asari, too.
You're with the Alliance? My brother's a private back on Earth.
Which is interesting. I really feel like, speaking of females of other species, I really feel like they should have done more with female Turians and Krogans, though in Mass Effect 3 they have, and Andromeda too, they have more of a a presence.
That is close enough, Commander. I've heard a great many things about you since your arrival here in our citadel.
You wanted to speak with me?
I have a certain problem that could use your expertise.
Maybe I can help.
I have a friend, Septimus, a retired Turian general. I won't discuss the details, but he wanted me to be more than I could be. We had a falling out. Now he spends his days in Cora's den, drinking and spreading lies about me. If you would speak to him as a fellow soldier, I believe he will listen to you and let the matter be.
So, she's very interesting. She's kind of acting very distant from us. But then the moment she wants to ask us for a favor, she's very touchy and very, forward, and Shepard definitely likes that. It's interesting because I think it's the empathy at play, the sheer empathy. Everything from keeping distance, you know, until we agreed to, like, it almost feels manipulative the way she goes about it, but I think she's, I don't know, she's definitely kind and definitely does not try to pull our strings in any real significant way. She just had a feeling from, I guess, the moment she heard about me that I might be able to help with the Septimus issue. And spoiler alert, yes, I am the right person to talk to him, because it's pretty easy to convince him, all things considered. And she probably intuited that because of like her sheer empathy, which, because I am a very empathetic person as well, I really enjoy this concept of empathy to this extreme degree like this. And it also would make sense that, spoiler alert, if you have a lot of empathy, sometimes you really need to be more distant from people. So she had her back turned. She didn't want us to get very close at first. I think she was probably that was like, if I was her, like, I would imagine that the reason she did that was in order to kind of get her bearings and be able to kind of get a feel for us and be able to sort of prepare herself for being closer to us, even in proximity, because that's likely very intense for her in a certain way, just being this close. I don't know, it's awesome, and I love how they present her.
What exactly do you want me to tell him?
Appeal to his sense of honor. Remind him of his position as a general.
Oh boy.
If you can convince him to stop spreading lies about me, I would be very grateful.
So now she's horny, and it's okay, because,
I have many clients waiting to see me.
now she's horny, and don't worry, she'll be able to satisfy that need a little bit here. But yeah, Shepard's very gay, so internally she's like, can I maybe get some bang for this? 'Cause please? But yes, I really enjoy the consort, like, non-jokingly, non-ironically, in any kind of sense. All jokes about sex, because I am me, but I enjoy her as a character and as a concept, and she really just kind of is a really good sort of foothold into the Asari. I really enjoy what they do with the Asari as a species in this series, especially in 1 and 2. A lot of people will say that 1 and 2 are just better written, and, you know, yeah, I agree with that as well. But 3 and Andromeda, yes, Andromeda even, are also enjoyable in their own ways. And yes, even some of the Andromeda story writing I really enjoy. But the combat in Andromeda and a few of the other gameplay elements, but certainly the combat, is actually really fun to me. It's like, it's not a bad game. It's just people want it to be Mass Effect 1 and 2 with a team that didn't know what they were doing. Yeah, anyway. That's my 2 cents for, like, 3 games from now. So, Because what I'm probably going to do is systematically do 1, 2, 3, and then Andromeda. Regardless. Wait, I'm already heading down to the wards when when I can't yet, because I actually need to go to the Citadel Tower. Well, yeah, if you try to go to the wards right now, it won't let you. So, we gotta go to the Citadel Tower first. Whew. Hi, kitty. Meow. Honestly, I'm with Ashley here. I mean, Udine is written in a way that most people aren't gonna like him, but that's the point. He's not there to be likable, he's there to be a blunt force object for humanity's interests here on the Citadel. That's why he is. That's likely why he was able to get the position he has, is because people know he's not going to take any slack and he's going to keep pushing for humanity's interests. And we'll see why that's important as we get into more of the political machinations that are happening here.
Saren's hiding something. Give me more time. Stall them.
Stall the council? Don't be ridiculous. Your investigation is over, Garrus.
Commander Shepard, Garrus Vicarian. I was the officer in charge of the C-Sec investigation into Saren.
I am also awesome as fuck. I love this man.
Sounds like you really want to bring him down.
I don't trust him. Something about him rubs me the wrong way. But he's a Spectre. Everything he touches is classified. I can't find any hard evidence.
I think the council's ready for us, Commander.
Good luck, Shepard. Maybe they'll listen to you.
Sadly, spoiler alert, no. Not yet, anyway. And they also won't listen to me when it really counts 2 games later, or even the next game, but that's neither here nor there. Because this series really pushes, hey, politics, it sucks. And I think that's a conversation that does need to be had. Although, of course, the kind of people that make video games probably aren't ever going to have a say in politics, so that's probably why it's the way it is, regardless of what media, you know, makes sure to point out the folly of politics. Regardless.
The hearing's already started. Come on.
I'm kind of rushing past a lot of side content here, but I'll get back to it.
There's nothing to indicate Saren was involved in any way.
The investigation by Citadel Security turned up no evidence to support your charge of treason.
An eyewitness saw him kill Nihilus in cold blood.
We've read the Eden Prime reports, Ambassador. The testimony of one traumatized dock worker is hardly compelling proof.
I resent these accusations. Nihilus was a fellow Spectre and a friend.
That just let you catch him off guard.
Captain Anderson, you always seem to be involved when humanity makes false charges against me. And this must be your protege, Commander Shepard. The one who let the beacon get destroyed.
I find it really weird and just kind of conveniently, you know, hey, this is where the source of the conflict is right now, but I feel like them brushing off the witness so readily just doesn't feel right. It doesn't make sense. I suppose it's to kind of, I suppose the reasoning in lore is something like, why would you trust, you know, some random dock worker over a Spectre? But I mean, the thing is that Spectres have a lot of power that they can use freely. He's not there because he can be trusted. He's there because it's clear he can get the job done. It's also clear that part of the reason he was made a Spectre is because he can get the job done no matter what. He's very ruthless, and he's actually callous as fuck sometimes. And he becomes even more so because now he's not even just Saren anymore. Spoiler alert, he's actually a Reaper tool anymore. So he's going to be a complete dick because the Reapers are complete dicks. But the Council doesn't want to see that. And they don't want to see that even in Mass Effect 3 when the whole world's coming to an end. So the Council can honestly go fuck themselves in all 3 games. Especially 2 and 3. They basically abandon us in 2 and 3. They abandon us in 2, and then in 3 they act like they're gonna help us, and they don't help us much anyway. I just fuck the Council and their political bullshit, to be entirely frank. Yes, sure, whatever, they're the governing body of this pretty successful conglomerate thing. That's conglomerate of different species, and that's to be celebrated, but their backroom politicking basically ends up expediting the end of the goddamn galaxy. That's not okay. That's not even close to okay. But I think, again, it's there to kind of be a parallel to human politics and how shitty they are.
The mission to Eden Prime was top secret. The only way you could know about the beacon was if you were there.
With Nihilus gone, his files passed on to me. I read the Eden Prime report. I was unimpressed. But what can you expect from a human?
You can expect getting your goddamn head blown off later. Twice, actually. We literally kill Saren twice. Spoilers. Which is very satisfying for me to think about right now. When I, as I watch this scene again, which my first playthrough really pissed me off. Because, fuck this guy.
Saren despises humanity. That's why he attacked Eden Prime.
Your species needs to learn its place, Shepard. You're not ready to join the Council. You're not even ready to join the Spectres.
He has no right to say that. That's not his decision.
Shepard's admission into the Spectres is not the purpose of this meeting.
This meeting has no purpose. The humans are wasting your time, Counselor, and mine.
Thank you, Asari Counselor. She's definitely my favorite. She's always the more level-headed, and always usually more willing to stand up for me than the other two are. At least that's what I feel like I remember just from this one line, but it might just be this one line, because I don't really remember other instances of this. I just like how she's handling things here a little better than the others, but she can still go fuck herself, ultimately, because they all basically just abandoned me. Abandoned Shepard.
Saren's hiding behind his position as a Spectre. You need to open your eyes.
What we need is evidence. So far, we've seen nothing.
Except for the words of a dock worker who literally fucking saw it happen. And heard the name Saren. That's all the fucking evidence you should goddamn need.
Our judgment must be based on facts and evidence, not wild imaginings and reckless speculation.
Do you have anything else to add, Commander Shepard?
Fuck you, that's what I have to add.
You've made your decision. I won't waste my breath.
The Council has found no evidence of any connection between Saren and the Geth. Ambassador, your petition to have him disbarred from the Spectres is denied.
I'm glad to see justice was served.
I'm glad to see that you're gonna fucking die later.
It was a mistake bringing you into that hearing, Captain. You and Saren have too much history. It made the Council question our motives.
I know Saren. He's working with the Geth for one reason. To exterminate the entire human race.
Actually, it's not quite true.
Every world we control is in danger. Even Earth isn't safe.
But we don't learn that for a while. I don't think she's gonna want to pry into his past out of respect for him.
We need to deal with Saren ourselves.
So she's not gonna pry in that direction of... Basically, they worked together because Anderson was slated to be a Spectre, but Saren basically set him up and made sure he wasn't going to. And also killed a bunch of people in the process because Saren's an evil bastard and fucking. Thing is that as a character, Saren is a well done villain in my opinion. And you know part of why he's a well done villain? Because I'm so adamantly against him, you know?
Any idea where we could find him?
I have a contact in CSEC who can help us track Garrus down. His name is Harkin.
Forget it. They suspended Harkin last month, drinking on the job. I won't waste my time with them.
You won't have to. I don't want the Council using your past history with Saren as an excuse to ignore anything we turn up. Shepard will handle this.
Apologies for the birds screaming in the background.
You can't just cut Captain Anderson out of this investigation.
The ambassador's right. I need to step aside.
I need to take care of some business. Captain, meet me in my office later.
Katie?
Harkin's probably getting drunk at Cora's Den. It's a dingy little club in the lower section of the woods.
I thought you said he was a drunken loser.
Couldn't hurt to go talk. Just be careful. I wouldn't call him reliable.
Maybe there's another way to find evidence against Saren.
You should talk to Barla Vaughn over in the financial district.
Ah, we met him already.
Rumor has it he's an agent for the Shadow Broker.
The Shadow Broker?
An information dealer. Buys and sells secrets to the highest bidder. I've heard Barla Vaughn's one of the top representatives. He might know something about Saren, but his information won't come cheap.
I should go.
Good luck, Shepard. I'll be over in the ambassador's office if you need anything else.
Alrighty, friendos. Let's get investigating and also exploring some areas that we hadn't before, like the other wing of the embassies that I kind of remembered all whilst I was trotting in through here. Whoops, I never really went there. I actually want to go there first to kind of make sure. Well, after we pass by this guy and get another side quest. You were doing something shady there, Solarian friendo.
Yes, is there something you want?
Why are you so interested in the Keepers?
Keepers? I've got no interest in the Keepers.
Don't get coy. I know what I saw.
I'm not so sure I should be talking to you about this.
We're just talking. Is there something wrong with that?
No. I guess it wouldn't hurt to tell you. I'm using a small scanner to gather readings on the Keepers. So far I've had mixed results. I find it difficult to get near the creatures.
Why were you being so secretive about it, though?
Well, technically we're not supposed to disturb the Keepers. I don't really think my scanning disturbs them, but the authorities might disagree. I'd like to do it more openly, but it's not really worth getting arrested over.
Considering he's clearly just curious about them, but like if she's just scanning them and it's not doing anything to them, she doesn't see a reason to not help him out. And if it's for a scientific reason, then she understands that it might be a helpful thing down the line to learn more about the Keepers.
I can help you out. I'm not worried about the authorities.
I don't even know who you are.
I'm Commander Shepard with the Alliance military.
Well, I suppose I could use the help. You'll need this. It's the scanning device I developed. Activated each time you see a Keeper. All collected data will automatically upload to my database. I'll even send a few credits your way for each unique scan.
She's curious as to why, though.
What are you doing with the data once you've scanned it?
Trying to learn whatever I can about the Keepers. We see them working everywhere, yet we know so little about them. I'm a scientist. I want to know what makes them tick.
I should get going then.
Yes, I have much work myself. So long, and good luck with the scanning.
Shorben's actually a pretty cool guy. And there we go, there's our first skin.